Welcome back to the Fostering and Adoption Podcast with me and Larry. Last week, we shared how we secured our safety and sanity while on this journey. Now, let's talk about another very important component of fostering, bio parents.
Oh, bio parents. If you are currently fostering, or even if you fostered before, you're going to have to admit that at some time on your journey, you will have to address and recognize the bio parents. Okay. I hear all the rebuttals. I hear your disagreements, maybe even confusion. So tune in to this one and only episode regarding the bio parents.
We believe bio-parent association is critical when developing relationships with your foster children. Remember, these are their parents. Their normal, their allegiance, their loyalty, it's all tied to their parents.
Right. And I guess what make it not an easy subject for me is because we always have taken the stance to be neutral. We've always said, okay, let's just not, talk about the bio parents. Let's not be negative. Don't have these discussions. But the reality is that the children will bring it up because it is their parents. They are loyal to their parents. They miss their parents. And that makes sense.
Right.
Who would want a child that wouldn't miss their parents? What's wrong with that child?
Right.
So because that's what they're used to, because it is their normal, as you stated, then it's very important that you understand your relationship when it comes to the bio parents.
Right. So what do you do when the feeling isn't reciprocated?
Well, a lot of it, and I guess because now we know more as foster parents and adoptive parents, where we tell parents, okay, make sure at the beginning to have a good relationship, you might want to write a letter, place it in their backpacks when they go to visitation. We've talked about a lot of different things they can do to make that transition great for the child. And once we got our children, they went to visitations, they came home, and we, just made sure we didn't speak negative of the parents. That was our biggest, I say our biggest number one thing to do.
Right.
You agree?
Yeah, I agree.
So therefore we didn't say anything negative, but when it came to a point that things came up about the bio parents, then we had to make a decision.
Right.
Do you react to what's going on or do you retreat?
Right.
Because that neutral thing we tried to do is not the norm at that point. So let's see. What did we do? First thing is ask yourself. It's going to sound crazy, but what would Jesus do?
Right.
Come on, we all remember that.
What
would
cliche,
Jesus do?
Sounds cliche, but...
But what would Jesus do?
Right.
Because let's talk about some situations that occurred.
Oh, gosh.
During visitations.
For sure.
Hair. Now, okay. You brought up hair.
I just jumped right into it.
Remember, I was the mom of 3 boys. I didn't have any girls.
Right.
So when the Lord gave me and thought, that I was worthy, I'm going to say, of raising 2 girls, because it's a task. It really is. It's a difference between raising boys and raising girls. Right. And then to raise them at the same time. Okay. So to go to the visitations, I, brushed up the baby's hair, did the best I could, put a little rubber band on, put a little bow red on it. They were young, and sent them on to the visitation. Well, we started getting complaints.
Right.
I didn't do their hair right. They need to do their hair. I had to make the decision. Okay, I'm doing the hair. I'm taking care of the children every day. I'm sending them to the visitation with the parents, and you're complaining that I didn't brush it up right or I don't know how to braid. No, I didn't know how to braid.
Right.
I mean, at all. Still don't know how to braid. So we had to figure out what we're going to do. Larry calmed me down, and then it said I had to let the caseworker know, well, if the parents wants to braid their hair, because they did come to me with braids, and actually the parent knows how to braid.
Absolutely.
I'll just give her a props. The bio mom definitely knew how to braid, can probably still braid today. So therefore, it's okay to braid their hair. Right. I had to just kind of put myself out of the situation and say, it's okay.
Yeah, what's best for the child in this situation, basically.
Right. And I guess it was best for the mom to do the hair. Right. Even if it just lasted that 1 or 2 days, it was still good looking. And actually, when she braided, she braided, and it lasted until that next visitation. Right. So I was definitely appreciative of that. But that's one of the things, where right away you can get, defensive. Oh, wait a minute, she's offending my character. Or she's saying I can't do hair. Well, I couldn't.
Right.
But she didn't have to say it, but I had to make the decision. How do I respond to the criticism?
Right.
So therefore, we let her braid their hair.
Yep.
Then I kind of got offended myself when I would send them to the visitation and they came back without their hair done. It's like, now what? So it's like you take, I've retreated and allowed you to do the hair and now you refusing to do the hair?
Yeah, you're like, we have standards here.
Right, we have standards. I want their hair braided. I remember many times asking the transporter, hey, can you mention
for the mom to do the hair?
Telling my babies, hey, it's okay if mom will do your hair today, So some days it was done, some days it wasn't,
Right.
So those are things that we just have to deal with.
Right.
One big deal, I know, it didn't happen a lot with us, or it didn't happen with us at all, because we only had the two girls, but a lot of foster parents have to deal with dress.
Yes, how the
child are dressed.
Right.
How the child is dressed when they come to visitation.
There you go.
We have, twins, girls, boys. So it was a time that before they came to us, the girl had on the boy clothes, the boy had on the girl clothes. Not only were the twins upset, but the parents.
Oh, they were livid.
Oh, they were. And we were just still neutral in it. We can't say, well, that's that foster parent. We didn't do it. We had to take it.
Right.
Because we are part of those foster parents.
True.
When something happened, it's those foster parents that did it. So you have to suck it up.
Right.
Now, one thing in visitations, speaking of visitations, I remember, and I don't know if you remember this, Larry, but yeah, you'll remember what I said because you spent so much time calming me down.
Wow.
When the children are picked up sometime from visitations, they're picked up from the school. And when our children were picked up from the school, it just so happened to be that day they received their school pictures. Some of you already know where I'm going. When the child went to the visitation, the bio parent pulled out the school pictures, took what she wanted, the sheet she wanted, and left me with the other ones.
She sent the leftovers back.
Not only did she send the leftovers back, and we didn't have Jocelyn's now with the email, and now they email all the pictures to you.
Right.
So I didn't know what the pictures looked like, but I did get a bill. So not only did she send the backpack back with one or two sheets left, and she took the two she wanted, I also had to pay for those sheets. Those sheets were $15 each, you all. So I told Larry, I wrote a nice little email to all the caseworkers, to the case manager, the caseworker. I want my money. Make sure when the kids go to visitation, you get $30 because it's owed to the school. These were not our pictures. Let's get this, straight.
Right.
And I didn't get my money, y'all.
You didn't get your money?
Not at all. I didn't get my money. I mean, he thought it was pretty funny because I was mad.
She was hot.
All the kids.
She was done.
Had their pictures except for these two sheets of pictures that I had to pay for. And I just thought it was disrespectful. Honestly, I thought it was disrespectful.
Apparently it got under your skin because
how can you
we're
take
still
the
talking about it.
and not send me money.
Right.
But Larry spent a lot of time, like usual. We take care of each other to make sure that I calm down because I wasn't getting my money.
And you weren't getting them pictures either.
And I wasn't getting the pictures back. So that's one of those things that, do I react or do I retreat? Well, I did react, but I didn't go overboard.
Right.
Because, God sent me to him, because we do believe that the man who found their wife found it a good thing. I'm the good thing. So I was sent, he was sent to find me, and he found me, and he does keep me in check. So therefore, we let the pictures go. I mean,
eventually.
We couldn't do anything about it anyway. She already had them.
Right.
But I had to let that out my spirit. And I do recall one thing Larry was very upset about.
Are we going there now?
Oh, we're going there because I already showed myself. So one thing Larry was upset about was the food. You all, when parents go to visitations, when kids go to visitations, the parents, I would do the same thing. I would have food, snacks there for my kids. I would sugar them up, let them know how much I love them.
Yep.
Well, Larry didn't appreciate that.
Nope.
Because when you get 7 kids sugared up
And then they come back
and
to
they
you,
come home,
and they supposed to be winding it down and getting ready for dinner in bed.
it was a party up
no,
in here.
No, it was a disaster if you were the parent. Okay, I'm just saying.
It was a true party. Our kids came home hype. It was on. They were ready.
Flipping.
You know, all kind of things. If one got more than the other, one came home mad. One came home happy. Some came home just stuffed. You know, because we have one just, well, we have two. That'll just eat.
They'll just eat. You have to cut them off.
And if you don't give them any restriction, it's on. They're going to eat till they're sick.
That's true.
So food was a big, big issue. So that's when Larry had to realize and understand how to retreat. So I was able to kind of, flip it back to him. In that instance where it wasn't just all me flipping out. But the good thing is that I guess because the way that we were dealing with our fostering journey, and one thing that boundary we put in from the beginning, and I guess what I'm trying to say, one boundary we set at the beginning was that we wouldn't have these conversations around our children.
Oh, absolutely not.
So they never saw us flip out.
No.
Now they did hear a little about the food that you all have to have.
I couldn't help it.
That you have to have some type of discipline.
Right.
You don't just sit there and eat every bag of chips that you see.
So guess what? They just brought them home.
That's right. Then that's right.
They brought them home.
They did start bringing home because they figured Dad must have wanted some too.
Right.
So it's like, oh, Mr. Larry wants some of my chips. Then you got to deal with that. Mr. Larry really don't want the chips that your parents bringing to you. We just don't want you to eat everything at once. Right. So it's a way you just have to learn to communicate. So although we were not talking to the parents, the bio parents at that time, we're still having to deal with them.
Oh, for sure.
We're still having to have conversations.
We're having, conversation through the caseworkers and the transporter. And yes.
And it's not always sending the message to the parents, because we never sent messages to the parents except for, yes, you can do their hair for sure. For sure. But what we had to deal with is, how are we going to address it? How are we going to respond when things happen?
Right. How are we going to manage it, if you will?
Yeah, that's a good word. Yeah. How are we going to manage it so we can still keep our sanity and we can still show love within our home and not be biased? And that's the biggest thing. Because when those mistreatment allegations come, that might come, we didn't have a whole lot, but we had enough.
Yep.
We had enough to really get under your skin sometime.
Right.
Where, okay, well, you're not taking care of the child the way I would. Okay, come on. I don't even need to see it. They're foster children. Not that we're not taking care of it, but like I would. Okay, so, we had to say, this is not something I really need to respond to.
No, in other words, what's understood does not need to be said.
Right. Thank you, baby.
You're welcome.
Say less.
There you go. Ooh,
I've learned that.
She said, say less. All right, good job.
So we've, learned that. And the biggest thing is that the children are really just hearing and repeating what their parents say sometimes.
Right. Both parents.
So both parents, if they're lucky. And I'm going to say if they're lucky to have both parents.
Right.
Because ours are.
That's true.
And that's one thing we've been really grateful for in our journey, that our children did have two parents. No matter what situation they were in, no matter what happened, they had two parents that really did truly love them. We have no doubt about that, truly love them. So we had to make sure that all of our responses and interactions showed that we love them as well.
Right.
And that we recognize the parents love them.
Oh, for sure.
Okay, because it was a time, and this is not for everyone. Remember, this is our journey. Okay. We allowed our children, once it was decided that they weren't going to go back home, we allowed our children to have phone conversations and to bond with the parents.
Right.
And one of the main reasons we did that is because it was so many of them, and that the others, we did have some that were older that knew, hey, we have our parents. It was never a secret that we adopted them.
No,
we did not plan to adopt. That was truly straight from God. We did not seek out this journey of adoption. But God told us to, and we said okay, and a quick yes to His will.
It wasn't.
It wasn't that quick. Oh well, it sounded better. But
Okay, I guess. Okay, it was quick. It was quick.
now
quick.
seriously, we didn't discuss if we were going to or not.
That's
we
true.
just kind of had
It's just it was a matter of when. Like we're not ready.
right. Or we were saying all that to God,
And God
saying,
was like,
"Who?
keep
Us?"
moving.
We were like,
keep
"Us?"
moving. Keep moving.
You know,
the whole time we were being nudged towards, it's about to
right.
happen.
So when it came down to it, and we were actually asked if you all will consider adopting them, we didn't have the conversation.
Right.
That was an immediate yes.
Right.
Now, when and you want us to do it tomorrow? No, hold on. That's 7 kids. We gotta get this all figured out in
We
our
gotta
head.
get our life in order
Right?
first.
How is it gonna work?
Right.
We have some questions.
Right.
And it wasn't to the workers; it was to God, and
right.
then to the workers.
Right.
So the answer yes came back, but the action yes was like, hold on,
Right.
let's see what we can put together. But needless to say, of course,
it worked itself out. I'm sorry, God worked it out for
right.
us. There
For
you go.
us, and
Yep.
He let us know that He had us.
Right.
So, because our doubt was, you want us to adopt 7 kids? That means 7 at once?
No.
and
When
their
no,
ages?
No, when we're in chambers behind, in the judge's chambers, and the judge looked at me, and the kids were talking, and they were with their manager,
Right.
with their lawyer, and he looked at me and said,
Yeah. And they said, you do know what this means, right? And at this point, we were like, oh, yeah, we got it. Because
right.
God had already told us that He had us,
Right.
because our fear was the 10 kids.
Yes.
10 kids total.
Yes.
And, this is a lot. And, but when we decided, because we diverted a little, so let us go back. When we decided that we wanted our children to not be my biggest thing was I didn't want to turn on TV one day and see my children on TV saying, I wish I knew my parents.
Yeah.
Or I'm looking for my
I'm
parents.
looking for my parents. We never wanted
I grew up in the Maury, Povich stage, era, and he did a whole lot of finding,
finding your
that
lost
also
parents.
ignited my passion to make sure that, I assisted children. And even with adoption, that's why it wasn't a huge question to me. If we were going to adopt these children, once we found out that rights would be terminated, it was just that I didn't want them to be a statistic.
Right. We didn't want them to be split up, sent to, all ends of the state potentially.
Right. And I didn't want them to have to look for their parents.
Looking for each other and for the parents, because there's too many stories of that.
Right. So when it came down to it, we did contact the bio parents. They contacted us. It was both ways. They wanted to know their children.
Right.
And then we found, decided, okay, it's at a time where we felt that it would be safe to open up the communication. We did.
Right.
But, with that, decisions and still have to be made. So we started getting challenged about the time that they can talk to them, the
Right.
time of day, how long they would talk to them,
who would talk to them,
who would talk to
and
them,
who wouldn't talk to them.
Because remember, it was a multiple children, so therefore some children felt, like they wanted to, some did not.
Right.
Some actually was so young, did not recall that, and did not understand bio parent, adopted parent. What do you mean?
Right.
We've had many conversations about that. So, we received a lot of backlash.
Right.
Backlash from the bio parents of,
Right.
Us keeping them away from the children, us not allowing them to talk to the children at certain times of the morning or evening.
Right.
Even about chores.
Oh, for sure.
If our children shared that, they were outside picking up stuff, and wait a minute, why is a girl outside picking up stuff? Well, we had to hear that,
Right.
and even to hear the point that, hold on, Mom, my mom said, or Dad, my dad asked, why am I having to go outside and pick up leaves?
Right.
Child,
Right.
if you don't put that phone down and go pick up those leaves or whatever it may be,
Right.
we had to figure out how we're going to respond.
Yep.
And that's why the question, can come about. Do we react to that? Or are we going to say, well, because I'm the mama? Or are we going to kind of retreat? Not retreating because of fear, but retreating because of the safety of our children's mind.
Right.
I don't want them to feel my mom is against my mom.
Right.
I don't want them to feel my dad doesn't like my dad, or even vice versa. So we had to have a lot of conversations, and just set boundaries. You may use your phone during this time. I started texting the parent. These are the times that they use their phone, telephone. You're free to call them during that time. Then I started getting questions about, well, why aren't they answering? I don't know.
Right.
Come on.
Yeah.
You're not letting them answer. So, at first I started talking to the children. Why aren't y'all answering your Bible, Mom? Why aren't you doing this? Why are you doing? And then God truly let me know that's not my place.
No, they
My
have to bond
place-
in their own time.
Right. They had to
Right.
bond in their own time.
so
My
true.
place was to set aside a platform
Right.
that they could if they wanted to.
Right.
And that's what we had to learn. That it wasn't, I don't need to defend myself. We're trying to teach our children, even today as they get older. It's even harder now
It is.
as they older
They have a
because
lot of influences.
yes, because they've had opportunity to bond if they wanted to. They've bonded. I remember the first time that my daughter looked into her phone and saw a FaceTime of her dad, and she said, "Oh, that looks like me."
Yep.
And she just was in tears.
Right.
I mean, those are the bonding, different situations that we thought would occur, but you also have to look at reality. You're going to have that negative part as well.
Oh yeah.
So as there are parents, we had to figure out how are we going to address that with the parent, because
And-
now we're having conversations with the parent.
Yes.
So we started out texting. I would try to do some soft texting and address things lightly. Sometimes it worked, sometimes it didn't.
Right.
I stopped trying to talk to the children about, hey, you need to. I didn't tell them they had to, because that's not giving them an opportunity. So it's one of those things that you just truly have to talk to God about.
For sure.
Look at your situation. And I will tell you, we don't know all the answers. We haven't done everything right at all.
No.
I've even questioned, baby, and I did share this with you. And I believe in talking to the children. I let them know, mommy doesn't have all the answers. That I don't. And I'm saying mommy, but this was still talking to my 17-year-old, my 16-year-old, my 18-year-old. I don't know if it was wise or not for us to allow them to open up that communication before 18.
Right.
I don't know if it would have been a difference or not.
Well, they may have been even more disconnected for all we know. I mean,
Right.
You just never know.
We don't know, but
all we know is the experience that we have, basically.
that's good. That's good
Yeah.
and true. And we're trying to be as transparent as we could with our children and let them know. All I do know is that I consulted with God.
Right.
I do know that I felt that He was telling me that it was okay. Now, I might have not have gone through it the right way or the best way at that time, but all I could do is share with them that it was out of good intentions.
For sure.
So if they grow up and say, "Oh, I wish," because I still watch all these shows, and some say, on TV saying, "Oh, I wish that I didn't have communication with my parent until I was older
Right.
and made the choice." Because our 21-year-old at that time decided he wanted to, have conversations. Then that's when we opened up to everyone, because we just felt it wasn't okay, because they knew he was talking to their
Right. So-
parents,
so
and
why
then we're
not
going to
then-
say, well, you can't because you're too
Right.
young.
Exactly.
So that's what pushed our decision in talking to God about it, is that they asked.
There you go.
And because they asked, then we felt that that it was okay to give to them. And we waited a while.
We did. We didn't just do it willy nilly. I mean, we gave them an
Right.
opportunity. We gave it some time. We gave it some
We said,
thought.
think on it, pray
Right.
about
we
it.
prayed about it, and then
and
we
waited
just,
the time.
Right. Now we made a way for them to be able to individually speak
Right.
with their parents, as and they can, if the phone ring, they can answer the phone,
Right.
or
And
not answer the phone.
And before they had their numbers, they only used my phone.
For sure. Yeah. So,
So
there's a lot of
for about
screening
a
going on.
year-
The screening going on that took place.
Right. So for about a year, it was on a speakerphone,
Right.
and it was in a room with everyone. And then we graduated or progressed through
Right.
and went to individual.
Right. Once they were of age and in our mind maturity to
Right.
handle their own cell phone. Period.
Mhm.
Because that's a whole nother story with dealing with
Right.
teenagers and cell phones.
So it's setting those boundaries.
Yes. Good.
And
boundaries.
having those discussions, because if we didn't have the discussions about it, I think that our children wouldn't know how to deal with situations.
And also, I think they would have just kind of the relationship for those that were older and did have a relationship with their parents, I think it would have just faded, as time went on.
Right.
And we didn't want that, to happen. But if it was a situation where they weren't going to be safe in dealing with their parents, then of course, we're going to cut all communication off if that's what we needed to do at that time. But we never had that issue where, during that time where we needed to cut all communications off. The children just kind of, decided when they wanted to and not wanted to speak. So it worked out to that extent.
Right. And it opened up that avenue where they felt that they were still in control
There
with
you
it,
go.
with
Exactly.
our supervision.
There you go.
Because our one thing, and I hate to say fear, because it wasn't a fear, it's just one thing we didn't want to happen was they get into college and then a situation occurs and they didn't know how to handle it.
Right.
So we wanted to be able to guide them through, these situations as we even were guided through these situations. But they know to consult God, and they know to weigh, pros, cons. We talk about that a lot in our family.
Right.
And then we, come to a decision after weighing all that and consulting with God first. Now, it doesn't mean that all their experiences have been positive, because they haven't. All our experiences haven't been positive. And I know if the bio parents had to say so, they would say that their experiences have not been positive.
Right.
But one thing that I can truly say and stand on is that it's been our children's decision.
True.
With their bio parents. It must be theirs. This is their story, their journey as well.
Right.
So we allow them to bond their own way in their own time.
For sure.
So and that looks different from each and every child.
Oh, it looks drastically
different.
Because
different.
some basically, I just think that they're not ready yet.
Right.
So when they get ready, then,
And they will.
They
And
will.
I mean, we've been on vacation together.
Yeah.
I mean, we set a time where they could actually bond and we vacation together.
Yep, sure did.
You would think that by me saying that everything was great. No, it went downhill after vacation.
Right.
I mean, it's just things that happen. So we had to truly stick to what we wanted for our children. And again, what would Jesus do? It wouldn't be to just quickly react and get upset and say, you owe me this, or you need to recognize what I did here. One thing we must all recognize as foster parents and adopted parents is they don't have to say thank you.
That's the truth. Yeah. Just like your children don't have to say thank you. When you do something for people in general, they don't have to say thank you.
Right. And they don't even feel like we did it for them.
And that's the other thing.
Because actually, in reality, our bio parents we'll tell you that we took their children from them.
Yeah. Ooh.
I mean, we hear that over and over.
Yes,
that
that's
we
true.
took their children.
In the communication, they do say that we took their children.
And that's very common.
Yes.
And that's not just us and specifically to us. That's a very common statement.
Right. Because that's how they feel. I mean, at the end of the day, we're the faces, if you will. So we're receiving that.
Yes. But one thing that our children, no matter what situation it goes through, that we constantly remind them of is that your parents were together.
Yep.
You were conceived through love, and they tried their best through love
to keep you all together.
To keep you together,
Yes,
because they
that's
were
true.
with all of our children. Our
truth.
children were not separated before foster care.
Right.
They kept them, they wanted them, and they tried their best, because we can't judge them on their situation, because it could have been us.
Right.
It could have been us at any moment.
Right.
Without that support that we've talked about before here on our previous episodes. It's just very important that you set up a village around you so that when you can't, someone can.
There you go. That's a good way of saying it.
So we don't have all the answers. We don't always know what to do. But one thing we do know is to not react and respond in a negative, in a defensive way that's going to hurt the child. Always keep their interests at first in everything that you do.
Yep. Enough said.
Thank you for tuning in to our Fostering and Adoption podcast. Just remember, yes, this is a very hard topic, and you're going to have to address foster parents at some time, and you're going to have to decide, or you're going to react or retreat. Just remember that their traumatic experience of the children being removed does not have to become a traumatic experience for you. Consult God and treat others the way that you want to be treated if you were in that same situation.
Like, share, subscribe, and leave a comment. We would love to hear from you. See you next week.